What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today, we've got another live fantasy football mock draft for you back on Yahoo with a 12-team half PPR mock where we will be selecting from the third overall position. Should be interesting as always. And while we wait for this thing to kick off, a quick reminder, if you guys enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear in the comment section your thoughts along with any other questions you guys might have. We will do our best to answer them all. And lastly, check out the 2022 ADP Fantasy Football Draft Guide, now available for purchase. Has everything you can want at great value, rankings, individual player tiers, bios, projections, along with general fantasy advice. All those details in the description. But with that being said, let's get into it. The first two picks have been made. We're on the clock. The clock is going down, but we know who we're taking. We're taking Christian McCaffrey, third overall here. The first two picks were Jonathan Taylor, followed by Austin Eckler. It was a pretty easy choice. I will say, again, I feel like I mentioned this in my last Yahoo draft, but Christian McCaffrey previously by Yahoo was ranked, I believe, 5th, 6th overall. Now the ranking was updated to 4th overall. I believe the order Taylor, Eckler, then Cooper Kupp, then Christian McCaffrey. But again, I think with projections, when you look at it and you're mapping out a fully healthy season, I don't know how you can't have McCaffrey ranked at least higher than Austin Eckler. So, the argument that Eckler should be going ahead of him, I don't get it. Sure, he's a little bit safer potentially, but I like the upside for Christian McCaffrey in any type of PPR format. He would be my number one guy. So basically, moral of the story, I'm ecstatic to get him at number 3, but the days, of being able to get him, I think if you scroll even like a week or two ago in some older mock drafts of us getting him at the 5th or 6th pick overall in Yahoo, those days are long gone. The Yahoo platform kind of getting on par with, let's say, ESPN, Sleeper, NFL, etc. After our Christian McCaffrey pick, you see Derrick Henry, then Cooper Kupp, then Najee Harris, Justin Jefferson. So we've got 3 running backs in the first round. After Jefferson, it was Dalvin Cook, then Jamar Chase. So those are the 3 wide receivers, Kupp, Jefferson, Chase. Personally, I would have Diggs and Devontae Adams in PPR formats ranked higher than Chase. Then afterwards, a run on running backs with Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones, Nick Chubb. I'd love to see Aaron Jones get some love there. Bummed out that I won't be able to get him, but, it is what it is. Nick Chubb then in the first round. Considering some of the running backs that were still available, DeAndre Swift, this still being half PPR, I would have gone Swift, Barkley ahead of, Nick Chubb. Then Travis Kelce also goes in the second round, first pick of the second round. In fact, I've said it before. I think it's too early. I've done the experiments where I go with Kelce early on. I prefer to get a bona fide running back in the first round, hell, even in the second round. But that's just me. Afterwards, you see Stephon Diggs, Leonard Fournette, Devontae Adams, DeAndre Swift, CeeDee Lamb, Deebo Samuel, Mike Evans. I really don't get Deebo Samuel being drafted this high, especially now with pretty much the 49ers saying it's going to be Trey Lance. If anything, you should be lower on Deebo Samuel. If we can all agree that the reason people are drafting and taking a chance on, Trey Lance as a top 10 fantasy quarterback is because of his legs, then surely we can all agree that the upside for everyone on that offense has gone down because the passing upside, Garoppolo versus Lance, I give the edge to Garoppolo, as crazy as that sound. Now, look, we're back on the clock here. This is a pretty easy pick for me. I've been on the Saquon Barkley train for a while. If you feel question about Christian McCaffrey in terms of him being a quote-unquote risk, then adding another running back in the second round is a good way to kind of ensure yourself. Some might say, Saquon Barkley is equally as risky. I disagree. I think with him being even further removed from his injury, that he is a good pick. So to me, I think we're going to see like rookie-esque type of Saquon Barkley here. In fact, I might go bullish here and go 3 running backs in the first 3 rounds. Like, I'm very bullish on Ezekiel Elliott. Actually, Alvin Kamara is still there. Josh Allen just went. I keep forgetting about Kamara because obviously the potential suspension. The question is, how long is the suspension going to be? Is it going to be 3 weeks? Is it going to be 6 weeks? You know what? I've already got two really good running backs that I believe in. Let's roll the dice on Kamara. The fact that in a 12-team league, and again, it's PPR based, that I got Kamara in the third round. Yes, it's risky because we still don't know the the length of that suspension, and there will be a suspension to some extent. But when I've gotten two running backs in the first, two rounds, I'm all right. I can, survive with Kamara on my bench for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. And to play devil's advocate, if the suspension is only 3 games, maybe even less, something like that, you getting Alvin Kamara when he returns arguably a top 5 running back in the third round, that's insane value. So I rolled the dice on Alvin Kamara here. I mean, this is a pretty crazy start. If you look at the 3 names on our list here, on our roster, we have McCaffrey, we have Barkley, we have Alvin Kamara. Like, just looking at those guys last season, or even, 2 seasons ago, they could have gone 1, 2, 3 in the first round. So, I'm not upset about this start at all. The other guy that I was debating, I kind of alluded to it, was Ezekiel Elliott. I think, people are just way too, down on him. Last season, he was hurt. Folks, everybody has come out and said that. It's been acknowledged. He is going to have another borderline top 10 season. So, great value on Ezekiel Elliott in the third round. We also saw Keenan Allen, Michael Pittman. Keenan Allen, if I didn't go running back, would have been the selection for me. Then you also see Michael Pittman. So he's another guy that at wide receiver, there's a little bit of hype around his name. Cam Akers also went in the third round. I don't know how you can draft Cam Akers ahead of Connor, ahead of Dave Montgomery, ahead of Travis Etienne. Speaking of some of those guys, we're going to look at our players that are still left. Afterwards, DJ Moore, James Conner, McLaurin, Montgomery, A.J. Brown. I'm not an A.J. Brown believer just because I don't believe in Jalen Hurts as a passer. Then you see Antonio Gibson, Mike Williams, George Kittle, Jalen Waddle, Breece Hall, and Deontay Johnson. So essentially what we're going to do here is after taking 3 running backs in the first 3 rounds, what we're saying here is we really like the depth at wide receiver in the 4th round and in the 5th round. So we feel good about, building out our team that way and not taking too big of a hit at the wide receiver position. I will say, if we want to get really, really kind of bold, we can take Travis Etienne here. These guys are literally a lot of them on my must-own running back list, guys that I think have huge upside and can finish as top 5 guys. But let's do this first. It also makes sense since potentially Kamara could miss a portion of the season. I'll take Allen Robinson first just because I'm so high on him. And, I do need a wide receiver. If ETN is there for me in the 5th round, I'll take him. If not, I'll take another wide receiver and I'll be perfectly fine. The answer to our question, no, he is not available. He goes at the, let's see, exactly end of the 4th round. Kudos to that person. They can, they can kind of see the value. The top tight ends are also off the board. George Kittle, Kyle Pitts, and Darren Waller went in the 4th round. Wasn't really thinking of going in that direction. We needed a wide receiver help. Speaking of wide receivers, let's kind of look at it here, what's left. Marquise Brown, Rashad Bateman, Juju. Those would be the guys at the top of my list. Right now, I'm going to go with Marquise Brown, and then hoping, probably won't happen, that Juju Smith-Schuster falls to us. A guy that I think people are sleeping on a little bit this season. I think he could very well, he won't be Tyreek Hill 2.0, but there's a scenario where he's not too far away from Travis Kelce. Maybe, with the age also getting up there for Kelce, leads, the Chiefs in receptions, targets, yards. The possibilities are there. I went with Marquise Brown here. Now, yes, you see the red cross next to his name. That's because he's dealing with a hamstring right now. But considering that it's, still, depending on when you're watching this video, but at the time of recording, it is late July, that we have a month and a half to go until the start of the season. And then DeAndre Hopkins is going to miss the first 6 games. I think Marquise Brown is going to be fine. And I think that he is going to just, rest the hamstring and come, week one, that him and Kyler Murray are going to do some pretty special things. Now, what else are we seeing here in the 5th round? We're seeing Lamar Jackson was the last guy to get drafted. Before that, Jacobs, J.K. Dobbins, and A.J. Dillon. I anticipate we're going to see a little bit of a quarterback run. It kind of unfolds with Patrick Mahomes being selected after Lamar Jackson. So the next big name quarterback that has to go is Kyler Murray. I would love to pair up Kyler Murray with Marquise Brown, but I don't think that there's any chance in hell that we can land Kyler Murray at the end of the 6th round. And wouldn't you know it, I'm right. And also, wouldn't you know it, we called that quarterback run. The last 3 picks have all been quarterbacks: Lamar, Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray. I get it, but I wanted to go wide receiver and to have my starting wide receivers taken care of. So, again, no qualms with the way our draft has unfolded so far. Really, really high upside at the running back position. I absolutely love it. Guys that I believe in at the wide receiver position, so can't complain too much there either. Afterwards, you see Damian Harris, Brendan Cooks with the last 2 picks. Here, again, I said it before, guys that I alluded to, Rashad Bateman, Juju Smith-Schuster, if one of them falls to me, I would be very, very happy. Let's see what's going on at the running back position. But like I said before, we've already got 3 studs there, so I'm not in a hurry to land another running back. We're going to get some wide receiver depth and be flexible with potentially adding one of the guys that would slot into our bench role now as a starter at the flex position instead of Kamara until he returns. Still some very, very good value. Quarterback, I'm not really all that worried about. Tight ends is here, something that I'm going to take a look at. Dalton Schultz, tempting. TJ Hawkinson, Dallas Goedert. Those would be, 3 guys that I like. Zach Ertz is also somebody that I like. Cole Kmet is somebody that I like. So we'll see how this thing unfolds. My next pick, there goes Juju Smith-Schuster. That's unfortunate. Was really hoping that he would fall to me. He doesn't. Oh, there goes Rashad Bateman as well. But yeah, so I figured that there was a chance that could happen. Let's see if there's any. Darnell Mooney is still on the board, so I wouldn't be upset at that. But I think potentially auto pick might screw us a little bit on that one. I don't know if that's the case or not. If it's not Darnell Mooney, Michael Thomas potentially is somebody we can consider. Elijah Moore, Alan Lazard. There goes Amari Cooper. There goes Joe Burrow. Is Darnell Mooney going to make it back to us? I think we're going to get sniped here. I want to have a backup plan. Tight ends, I'm looking at Hawkinson. I'm looking at Goddard. It's probably going to be between those 2 guys. Ertz, I've already kind of invested. I do like Ertz, but I think season long, I'd prefer I'd prefer Dallas Goedert or TJ Hawkinson. But it's a moot point. Darnell Mooney is still on the board for us. We're going with him. I like his upside as well. So the first 3 picks, all running backs. The last 3 picks, all wide receiver. If you go, heavy at any position the first 3 rounds, it makes sense that the next 2-3 rounds are going to focus on the opposite. So if it's running back first, then it's going to be wide receiver. It's wide receiver first, then it's going to be running back. So now Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Ramondre Stevenson go. We're going to be able to get one of those tight ends that we mentioned. So I'm excited about that. Let's see if there's any wide receivers we're forgetting about. Elijah Moore is still there, but so is Alan Lazard. I think there's a chance Lazard comes back to us. Running backs, I don't see anything too crazy. I'm going to go with tight end here. I'm going to go with probably Dallas Goedert. I think that, he is going to be a little bit more involved than a TJ Hawkinson. He just has more guys to compete with in terms of volume. Hawkinson, that is, like Swift, Amon-Ra, Williams. So whereas with Dallas Goedert, it's A.J. Brown, it's Devonta Smith. I still think that he's going to be utilized. I wouldn't be shocked if he has a better season than Devonta Smith. And then we can potentially even add Cole Kmet as a backup tight end. The value is still there, so I like that. But otherwise, kind of looking at our roster, again, running backs, wide receivers, Allen Robinson, Marquise Brown, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Dallas Goedert, Alvin Kamara. I love our running back situation. I think that gets an A grade. Honestly, I do. Wide receivers, they're not huge names. They're not going to be like top 5 wide receivers, probably not even top 10, but I think they can be top 15 guys. I think they can be top 20 guys. Very bullish on Robinson PPR. I like Marquise Brown, especially before DeAndre returns. Darnell Mooney going to get a lot of volume. So I like the way this thing is turning out. Next, I'm probably going to go with a quarterback and then maybe like another piece and kind of wrap this thing up. After our Dallas Goedert pick, we did see a run on tight ends: Kareem Hunt, TJ Hawkinson, Brady, Dawson Knox. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see, again, like a Zach Ertz at some point here. If I had to kind of look at players that I'm crossing my finger are available for us, running back, Melvin Gordon's intriguing. Somebody like for wide receiver, Elijah Moore's still there. Alan Lazard, I'll probably go Alan Lazard, honestly. That's the way I'll do it. If he isn't there, Moore, Renfro, those are names that I would be considering. Quarterback, let's see the quarterback situation. So there's so many options at quarterback. Russell Wilson just went off the board. Honestly, I don't even care. The next top 3 quarterbacks are all gone. I still feel very comfortable with like just a Derek Carr. Trey Lance is somebody that's intriguing, but I think he's basically going to be like Jalen Hurts of last year, but a little bit worse. So I think it's going to be like a between 8th to like 11th overall quarterback finish for him. I know people are really bullish, but it's because of the legs. It's because of what he's doing with his legs. Otherwise, I don't really believe in him as a passer right now. We'll see. We'll see what happens, but the upside is definitely there. If you're shooting your shot late, he's definitely a guy to target. So let's see what's going on here. We've got our first defense being selected with the Bills defense. So yeah, that's one way to know, this thing could potentially be wrapping up with more auto picks, with more bots, things like that. So that's another reason why I don't want to make this too long. It's going to lose a little bit of, realistic kind of expectations. So again, yeah, I think we're at a good spot right now. I'm really hoping we can get Alan Lazard. Ooh, wow. Talk about timing. I was saying I was really hoping we can get Alan Lazard, and he was literally just drafted in the 8th round. 2 picks until our turn. I mean, it's all right. We can still go with one of those other wide receivers that we mentioned, Elijah Moore, Hunter Renfro. Zero issues getting one of them. I mean, we can even get DeAndre Hopkins if we really wanted to get bold, but, I think that we can do that a little bit later. Right now, what I'm just going to do is go with Elijah Moore or Renfro, whoever drops to me. So I'll go with Elijah Moore. Actually, no, I'll go with Moore first, and then we'll see if we can maybe land Renfro afterwards in the 9th round. I just think Elijah Moore could potentially be. I think the upside for him is a little bit bigger. I think the consistency for Renfro is going to be better. But like at this point, we've gone to the 8th round. I'm going for upside, if that makes sense. So we went with Elijah Moore. There goes Hunter Renfro. So we're not going to go there. We're just going to wrap this thing up with a quarterback. There went Trey Lance. So yeah, that makes sense. Like I said before, people are going to be taking high upside guys. So I mean, this guy actually, he has Jalen Hurts and Trey Lance. Talk about, putting all your eggs in one basket in terms of the type of quarterback you're, investing in. But I'm going to go Matthew Stafford here. It's not even a point of debate. To me, he is by far and away the best option. And with that, we wrap up, the majority of our roster. We've got Stafford, I think, can be easily a top, 6-7 quarterback. Robinson, get that nice little stack. Marquise Brown. We've got Mooney. We've got Elijah Moore. Our running backs are awesome. McCaffrey, Barkley, Kamara. We've got options on the bench to, sub out Kamara until he returns. We've got Goddard. I'll put Cole Kmet on our queue list so we can get him another guy that I'm high on. And then we'll wrap this thing up. But honestly, I like this way this thing turned out. Very bullish on our running backs. I think this is a B+, A- type of draft. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Very happy with how it turned out given the size. If you enjoyed, again, hit that like button, subscribe. And lastly, make sure to check out the 2022 ADP Fantasy Football Draft Guide, now available for purchase. All those details in the description. But in the meantime, we'll see you guys in future videos.